All right, a good afternoon to you, everybody. Sunday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Andy Chilling, and I'm joined in the weather office by Chief Meteorologist Jason Nicholas. We're both in today to be tracking some severe thunderstorms that are currently moving across northeast Ohio as a cold front moves through. This is all part of a major storm system that's been impacting a lot of the eastern half of the nation with some really anywhere from damaging tornadoes yesterday and the day before to dust storms, wildfires. We've seen it all. In northeast Ohio locally, we're seeing some severe thunderstorms right now. You can see the radar screen on the other side of me, and basically this entire line right now has been severe warned for the potential for some damaging wind gusts. So I'm going to take this basically little by little. Now I do want to stress, if you're behind the line, if you're in western Cuyahoga County and Lorain County back to Erie and Huron, your severe threat is over for the day. We're done with that. You may have noticed a wind shift from the west, and we are seeing those temperatures dropping. So we're in the clear there, but out ahead of the line, it's still feeding on some instability and a lot of shear and spin in our atmosphere. If you were to look above at the clouds, of course, hopefully you're not outside, you would notice how fast they're moving, and that's because we have some very strong winds in the upper levels of our atmosphere. So here's a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect across parts of Cuyahoga Lake, Portage, Summit, and even Geauga counties until 1 o'clock. So over the next 45 minutes or so, this line possesses the potential anyway for some damaging wind gusts. I'm going to look real quickly at the information given to me here. It is moving to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. Okay, so this is moving at highway speeds or even faster than that. These storms are moving very fast. When you get storms moving that fast, they can have a lot of wind in them, and that is certainly something that we're seeing right now. So if I time this out here by putting the tracker on it, it may almost run off the screen here because I'm trying to go at 70 miles per hour here. So it's not going to take very long to move through it all. Akron here basically moving through within the next minute or so. You may end up seeing, by the way, the strongest parts of the strongest winds before the rain arrives, so the winds will pick up and then the rain will start. Ravenna, a heads up for you at 12:33, Orwell 12:52. By Ashtabula just before 1 o'clock, I'd say we could be seeing this storm moving through, and then from Conneaut, the far northeastern parts of Ashtabula County just after 1 o'clock. So this storm is absolutely racing. Basically the entire line is racing as well. And so that's one severe thunderstorm warning. Again, the whole line is warned here, so basically we're seeing a severe risk everywhere. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Stark County and Wayne, although the worst of the storm is now pushed through Wayne. This is also in effect until 1 o'clock. These are racing to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour, so same idea there. And then where I am concerned is across parts of Tuscarawas County. You'll see, if you notice closely, that these polygons have a little bit of a different shading. These are being warned for being destructive storms. The Zanesville Airport at around 11:52 saw a wind gust of 76 miles per hour, and this is that same line that's moving through. So we could be dealing with wind gusts in this line through Tuscarawas County up to 80 miles per hour. That's very destructive. That can easily bring down trees and power lines, maybe even some structural damage. And so this is certainly a concern. And this storm is also moving to the north and east at 55 miles per hour. So a heads up in Carroll County. If you're in eastern Stark County, you could be seeing this. And even again in Portage County, of course, we are under the warning. So this is all part of a major storm system moving through. We saw wind gusts around 50 miles per hour earlier in Cleveland. And I do see something. I'm looking at the National Weather Service. They chat. Somebody from the Lorain County Skywarn, they said that there was some trees, poles, and wires down on East 36th Street in Lorain from that line moving through. So there could have been some issues there. So again, these winds have been strong enough to cause those types of issues. I bet we're seeing some power outages. I'm going to actually do a live, let me go to the power outage map here and see what's being reported across the state. All of Ohio right now is seeing quite a bit of power outages. In Cuyahoga County right now, looks like a little over 3,000 from First Energy. Lorain County about a little over 1,000, and down towards Medina County a little over 1,000, most of those coming from First Energy. So you know, not a whole lot, but either way, certainly quite a few if you're without power. Most of the worst of the states across basically southeastern Ohio, that's where we're seeing some of the worst conditions right now. So major storms setting up. These are extending down towards Pittsburgh, really much of central eastern West Virginia getting in on the brunt of this. But again, I do want to stress, once this moves through, we're in the clear, and here's the reason why. Temperatures are dropping behind this front. We are now at 54 in Cleveland. That's rain-cooled air. 56 over to Lorain, 52 Norwalk. It is chilly in Mansfield, 50 degrees, and that's with a southwest wind 14 miles per hour, a west to southwest wind too from Sandusky to Lorain, and even in Cleveland. Those winds are beginning to shift more to the west right now. It's a due west wind in Worcester at 24. Our gust tracker 37 in Worcester. Again, this doesn't include every single city and location, so I can certainly believe we'd be seeing some stronger gusts locally. The Burke Airport gusting up to 37 miles per hour right now. Want to do a check of that camera, Edgewater Beach. Boy, did this look different just a few minutes ago. We saw heavy rain, gusty winds. Now you can even see a little bit of clearing there off in the distance after this line has moved through. And at Rocket Arena, where the Cavs are going to be playing in about the next 40 minutes or so, it's a 1 p.m. tip-off. You can see the traffic lined up there. They are certainly dealing with some heavy rain and those gusty winds as well. So Jason Nicholas is in the office with me. Jason, what are you seeing right now as we watch this line of storms moving through?
Yeah, Andy, great job there all morning analyzing this on the fly. And, you know, we were ready to go. Jeff and I were both in thinking, hey, we might have a few tornado warnings. Thankfully, we didn't get those at this point, and I think that risk, as you have mentioned, is kind of going down. Let's switch over to Weather One. I do like to look at this shot at Edgewater Beach because, as Andy mentioned, about a half an hour ago, you could barely see those fences. And that tree, that one lone tree that they've got down at Edgewater, which is beautiful in the summer, was whipping around. Those fences whipping around, and you could barely see the water. But now we're starting to clear things out. What you'll notice, though, is a significant drop in temperature. Still raining downtown. Let's take a look right now. We've got that alert. Okay, here's a look at future view. Let's go back to our live radar right here, which will show you also temperatures across northern Ohio, which is also going to be a big deal here as colder air will work its way in. 70 or so in Youngstown. Ashtabula is in the mid-60s. Look at Sandusky only in the low 50s. And we're going to continue to see these temperatures drop. Look at Chicago right now, 31. In fact, it's a good bet that we're going to get some snow showers coming through here later on tonight. All right, as far as our severe weather analysis right now, Andy mentioned we've got the worst weather is really down I-77 here. Down through Dover into Stark County, especially in and around the Dover area. We're talking about a severe thunderstorm warning with that potential for those 70-plus mile per hour wind gusts based on what this thing did earlier. And then we've got more severe weather right up 77. Canton, you guys are about to get hammered with heavy rain, probably a gust of wind. Remember, this storm is moving so fast. The forward speed of this thing is so fast that it is flying through northern Ohio, already through greater Cleveland, now moving its way basically up into Ashtabula. We'll see if they reissue for Ashtabula County. Right now, men are here in the next couple of minutes. Ravenna, Middlefield, Ashtabula around 1 o'clock, which is actually pretty good timing. The warning goes until 1. We'll see if it's reissued for Ashtabula County. But the real concern with the spin was off to our east. That's where that tornado watch is still in effect. We'll see if it's dropped here for northern Ohio here in the next perhaps half an hour to 45 minutes. Heavy rain right now through downtown Akron. We still have that warning here. Eastern Cuyahoga County getting slammed with heavy rain as well. Let's take a look here at our Future View product, which will show, for the most part, this stuff exiting here across the east. There it is. It's a little poorly initialized, but you can see, generally speaking, by the afternoon, we're back in the upper 40s and low 50s. Got to watch out for a little feature there. Could have a clump of rain and rumbles across our southern counties between 5 and 7 p.m. We'll see if that confirms or verifies. But then look at tonight. There it is. A little rain-snow mix possibly by around midnight tonight. But the big story here is, as we track this heavy rain right now moving through, we still have that tornado watch in effect. And that goes, right, Andy?
Yes.
We still do have that thing into effect.
It's still in effect. I mean, as you were saying, I would assume that they would start dropping counties from this once this line moves through, because that's the main risk. And again, as Jason was saying, the tornado risk with this line is not very high. The main risk is obviously the damaging wind gusts. So, that was that initial line that was moving through earlier. If you were down towards Stark County, you may have you've gotten an alert of a severe thunderstorm warning. And if you looked at this, it may have said down to the bottom, it says tornado possible. And so that's kind of a new thing they've been doing. They have different tiers of severe thunderstorm warnings, and they can also say, okay, well, it's not enough to issue a tornado warning, but hey, a heads up, like there may be something forming soon, for example. But right now, as you can see the velocity product on, we're just really not seeing any rotation. So these would be straight line winds. And I think something that's important to mention is, I mean, sometimes people say, oh, you know, it's only straight line, but it's really not. Straight line winds can do the same type of, if not even worse damage than tornadic winds. It doesn't matter whether it's straight line or circular, especially down in Tuscarawas County, where we could be seeing winds gusting over hurricane force if it's up to 80 miles per hour. Again, that is actually based on the fact that Zanesville, the airport there, saw a gust of 76 miles per hour. So this isn't even being estimated. This was like actually this happened. So dangerous conditions down there. You certainly do not want to be out and about. You want to just be away from windows too, because 80 mile per hour winds, those are certainly dangerous, Jason.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, we a lot of times put a lot of emphasis on, well, it's just a tornado warning, right? But a lot of times with a system like this where the speed of these storms is so fast, 50, 60 plus miles an hour, and then you bring that'll bring down those winds. And as Andy mentioned, 70 plus mile per hour gusts in Zanesville. So in many cases, a straight line wind or, you know, a wind event like this can be worse than a weak or little brief spin up affecting a small area. Sometimes these big wind events can do more damage than even a tornado warning. So that's why we're on our digital coverage right now. We have not had to break into our television programming, and we don't like to do that unless we have to. But one of the nice things about being able to be on digital here is we can kind of get a little more in depth here, even if we're not under a tornado warning at this point. But again, these winds mean business. We'll go back to our velocity product, which shows you the winds inside the storm. And again, as Andy mentioned, we're not seeing much in the way of spin. We had spin earlier today here when this initial line went through closer to about 10, 11 o'clock. We had a little bit of spin there. We were concerned about perhaps a tornado warning being issued, but that's really decreasing now as we head through the afternoon. So we've got more than 200 people on our live stream right now, and go ahead and chime in and let us know what you're seeing. Stay safe today. The good news is, Andy, this line is racing through, and really this whole thing is going to blow out of here by 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then we'll start to really see some quieter weather moving in. Not completely quiet, because there is potential for, across our southern counties, for a little bit more later on this afternoon. But overall, that severe weather risk will really begin to diminish here as we head through the latter part of the afternoon, as that colder air will work its way in. And we're talking about temperatures really falling off here from the 60s this morning into the 50s, 40s, and look at the snow out towards Chicago as that colder air does work its way in. So still have those warnings in effect. We'll recap them really quick here for you. There you see the one for Cuyahoga, Lake Geauga, and Portage and Summit until 1 o'clock. Then we've got Stark County here until 1 o'clock. We've got the one down into Tuscarawas County, that until 1:15. So basically here over the next half an hour to 45 minutes, those warnings will be trimmed down. However, I wouldn't be shocked if Mahoning, Trumbull, and Ashtabula are added to those warnings too, because it's the same line that's pretty vigorous. Even the storm motion there is itself almost severe. But yeah, that's the thinking right now here from the weather office. Andy, anything else?
I think that's it, Jason. Yeah, as you said, you know, things chilling down tomorrow. For those of you headed to the St. Patrick's Day Parade, we're going to be in the 30s. At least the sun will be coming back out. We'll be dry, but yeah, dress appropriately. This little taste of spring, almost summer that we had. It was near 80 on Friday, even in the 70s yesterday, and near 70 earlier today before the rain arrived. That's going away for a little bit. We'll be warmer a couple days for this week, and then another system rolling through after that. Right now, it looks like the severe threat is not very high with that, but of course, we will keep you updated here in the Weather Center. So I think that does it for us right now on our digital stream. We appreciate you joining us. Again, we'll join you again if anything happens. Again, we haven't had to break in over the air. There haven't been any tornado warnings, which is certainly some good news. I'd say the chance for that happening is very low, but if anything happens, we will certainly break in and let you know as we can. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and stay safe out there.